Hello everyone, welcome to NG Classes YouTube channel for a video lecture series on signals and systems. In this video lecture we'll consider finding frequency response and impulse response of the system having the output y of t, which is been given as e to the power minus 2t u of t plus e to the power minus 3t u of t, for the input x of t, which is equal to e to the power minus t u of t. What is frequency response? Frequency response is nothing but h of j omega. So let us start with the solution. First I will tell you what all we need to find, and then we'll start applying the formula and try to find the answer. Frequency response is nothing but, so let me write, frequency response is nothing but h of j omega. So how do I get h of j omega? And whatever it's been given, it is x of t and y of t. For these things I need to take the Fourier transform. So if I take the Fourier transform of the output y of t, I'm going to get y of j omega. And if I take the Fourier transform of x of t, I'm going to get x of j omega. Once I get that, I can get the ratio, and that ratio itself is nothing but the frequency response h of j omega, which is equal to, I would say, output divided by input. Output would be y of j omega and the input would be x of j omega. So these things I can find it very easily. Is that okay? The very first thing is take the Fourier transform. Find the Fourier transform. Find the Fourier find the Fourier transform of find the Fourier transform of x of t and of y of t. So this is the very first task we have to do it. If I take the Fourier transform of x of t, what I'm going to get? I'm straight away going to get x of j omega. Is that okay? And x of t is e to the power minus t u of t. What is the Fourier transform of such a signal? So I can find this very easily, and I can write this answer straight away, which is as 1 divided by 1 divided by 1 plus j omega. So I can write e to the power minus t u of t, its Fourier transform, as 1 divided by 1 plus j omega. Correct? Knowing the standard Fourier transform, e to the power minus at u of t, which is equal to a divided by 1 a plus j omega. So knowing that, I can write the result. Similarly, now let me find the Fourier transform of y of t. I would represent it as y of j omega. Correct? Which is sum of two signals, e to the power minus 2t u of t. Fourier transform of that is going to be, I would write 1 divided by 2 plus j omega. So how do I get that? I actually have to apply the formula, then find it. But these are the standard results. I can straight away write the answer. Finding Fourier transform of y of j omega is not the scope over here. That is why I'm taking the standard result. What I have to do here? I have to find the frequency response and the impulse response. Is that okay? So I'm not going in depth of this. So I can write the answer straight away, knowing that Fourier transform of the standard result, e to the power minus at u of t, which is equal to, I can write a divided by a plus j omega. So knowing that, I can write the answer. Similarly, the second term of the Fourier transform of this is going to be 1 divided by 3 plus j omega. Correct? So once I get that, I got y of j omega, I got h of x of j omega. What is the next task? I can find the frequency response. Therefore, h of j omega. So what must be h of j omega? It is output divided by input. It is y of j omega divided by x of j omega. So what is this equal to? So I am going to get this time this divided by this. 1 plus j omega comes to the numerator. I am going to get 1 plus j omega, that gets divided by 2 plus j omega plus 1 plus j omega, again there in the numerator, that gets divided by 3 plus j omega. So now I got this. I need to simplify this further, making use of the partial fractions, and I have to find, I have to reduce it to the standard form where I can apply inverse Fourier transform so that I can find the impulse response h of t. Is that okay? So the next task is I need to simplify this using partial fractions. So right, simplifying using partial fractions. So now we are going back to mathematics. So I guess this takes some time. For the simplicity, what we do is we'll not keep j omega. In place of j omega, let us put s. So this is only for the simplicity. So later we'll replace s with j omega back. Is that okay? So now I'm going to get 1 plus s divided by 2 plus s plus 1 plus s divided by, I'm going to get 3 plus s. Is that okay? So next task is I'll just multiply I'll take the LCM and multiply them. I'm going to get 1 plus s into bracket 3 plus s plus 1 plus s. This gets multiplied with 2 plus s. And what I have in the denominator? I have 2 plus s into 3 plus s as the LCM. 2 plus s into 3 plus s. So now just try to reduce this further. I need to multiply all the terms. 1 into 3 I'm going to get 3, plus 1 into s I'm going to get, plus 3 into s 3s, plus s into s square, plus 1 into 2 that is 2, 1 plus s I'm going to get s, 2 into s 2s, plus s into s square. Correct? So just be careful over here. Similarly, we need to get the answer for the denominator term as well. 2 into 3 I'm going to get 6, plus 2 into s I'm going to get 2s, plus 3 into s I'm going to get 3s, plus s square. So now just try to reduce this further. S and s square, it is going to become 2 times s square, plus just count the terms with s. This is s, 3s, s, 2s. So I'm going to get 3 plus 1 4, 5, 7s. So it is going to be 7s plus 3 plus 2 5, and this gets divided by the term in the denominator, that is s square plus 5s plus 6. So that is I'm going to get in the denominator. Now if I want to make use of the partial fraction, this form I would call it as improper partial fraction. Improper partial fraction. Why is that? Because if I want to make use of the partial fraction, the order of the numerator polynomial should always be lesser than that of the denominator polynomial. Then only I can make use of the partial fraction. It cannot be equal, it cannot be greater. I said the order of the numerator polynomial, highest polynomial, must be lesser than that of the denominator. Here it is s square and s square. So it is equal, hence I cannot make use of the partial fraction. To make use of the partial fraction, I actually have to reduce this to the proper partial fraction and then make use of the method. Correct? For that, I actually have to divide. Let me consider s square plus 5s plus 6. So I have to divide. I'll consider 2s square plus 7s plus 5. So I have to divide this. So I'll multiply with the 2. 2 into s square, it becomes 2 times s square plus 2 into 5s, I'm going to get 10s plus 2 into 6, 12. So just subtract the term, just put the negative sign. These will cancel. I'm going to get 7s minus 10s, turns out to be minus 3s. 5 minus 12 turns out to be minus 7. So therefore, I would write this as 2, whatever the quotient, the 2 plus remainder divided by the divisor, that is minus 3s minus 7 divided by s square plus 5s plus 6. Is that okay? So now 2 I'll keep it as it is. Only for these things I make use of partial fraction. Is that okay? So now it is there in the proper partial fraction. Order of the numerator polynomial is lesser than that of the denominator polynomial. Hence I can make use of the partial fraction. So for the second term, expanding it using partial fraction. Therefore I would write minus 3s minus 7 divided by, we have s square plus 5s plus 6, which I would write it as a divided by the first term, which is there as s plus 2 plus b divided by s plus 3. Is that correct? So now I'll compare the numerators, because denominator, if I take the LCM, they are going to get cancelled, and I'm going to get a into, take the LCM, s plus 3 plus b into s plus 2 minus 3s minus 7 equal to, new denominator I can cancel them and I can write this expression. So now I have to find the values of a and b. So how do I find a? So for the simplicity, what I do is I'll first put s equal to minus 3. If I put s equal to minus 3, a becomes 0, I get the value for b. Is that okay? So now minus 3 into minus 3, it becomes plus 9 minus 7 is equal to, this would become 0, and I said s equal to minus 3 plus 2 minus 1. So I'm going to get minus b. Therefore b is equal to minus 2. Is this okay? So I got the answer b equal to minus 2. Similarly, I need to find the value for a. For that I have to put s equal to, here put s equal to minus 2. If I put s equal to minus 2, minus 3 into minus 2 turns out to be 6, minus 7 equal to the first term, here s equal to minus 2, 3 minus 2 is nothing but 1, I am going to get a, plus this term is 0. Therefore I would get a is equal to minus 1. Is that okay? So ultimately I would get a is equal to minus 1. So I can put the values here. Therefore the final expression for h of j omega, therefore h of j omega, I can write the final expression as, here I have left 2 as it is, I'll consider that also, 2, then the second term, this term I expanded that using a partial fraction. So let me write that, a is minus 1, so I will write minus 1 divided by, it is 2 plus s, 2 plus s, in place of s I would put j omega back, correct? Because we made the adjustment that s equal to j omega for the simplicities. Now I am putting it back. Then b, what is b? b is equal to minus 2, I will put minus 2 divided by 3 plus s, 3 plus, in place of s I would put j omega. So now it has been reduced to the standard form where I can take the inverse Fourier transform very easily, and I would call this as the frequency response. This is our first answer. I would call this as the frequency response in a very standard reduced form. Frequency response. So how do I get the impulse response? Take the inverse Fourier transform and I would get the inverse impulse response. Taking, so just let me write one sentence, taking inverse Fourier transform, taking inverse Fourier transform. Therefore I would get h of t is equal to, h of j omega gets transformed to h of t, and 2 is the constant. It is actually inverse Fourier transform of 1 is nothing but del of t. So this is again the standard result, we know it. I would write 2 del of t minus, what it is, e to the power minus at u of t. In place of a I have got 2, so I'll get e to the power minus 2t u of t, correct, for the second term. Similarly for the third term, I'm going to get 2 is the constant, I will write it. I'll take it as 1 divided by 3 plus j omega. In place of a, I have 3. I'm going to get e to the power minus 3t u of t. So this is finally, I would say, the impulse response. I can also take a few term out here and I can reduce it. So I will write, let me write one more term, 2 times del of t minus e to the power minus 2t. I would take this out and I will be left with 1 plus 2 times e to the power minus t, correct? And I would also take u of t out. Just multiply, I'm going to get minus e to the power minus 2t u of t minus e to the power minus 2t minus t becomes e to the power minus 3t, 2 times u of t, correct? So ultimately h of t. So this I would call it as impulse response. Impulse response. Let me write the same thing. This is how we found the impulse response. Yes, in this numerical we have found the frequency response as well as the impulse response. There was a concept of signals and systems and there was a lot of concepts about mathematics. I solved everything step by step. I hope you people have understood. If there are any doubts, please let me know them onto the comment section. I would definitely address those doubts. Meanwhile, subscribe to our channel NG Classes for more videos on signals and systems. Till then, thank you everyone for watching.